Hi everyone, I'm really excited to have Emily here joining us, sharing about her story, her business, and her work with women, weight loss, coaching. And so I would like to just get started and ask the first question. So, Emily, could you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Lesieli. First, I just wanted to say a big thank you for having me here. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you and share some of my ideas and tips with some of your ladies. So, yeah, my name is Emily Gifford. I am a weight loss coach and a registered clinical nutritionist. And I help women who've tried everything to lose their next 10 kilos and to keep it off for good. I'm based in the sunny Hawke's Bay, and I have my business called Inside Out Nutrition, and I work online one-on-one with ladies and in small group coaching sessions.
Awesome. So, I've been following you, I've watched a few of your videos, and I really love your story of how you got to this point of becoming a weight loss coach. Could you tell us more about your journey, where it started, and maybe what encouraged you to make a change and where you are now?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like a lot of coaches, my journey started with my own weight loss journey. I have been overweight for as long as I can remember, and I've always been trying to lose weight and never had a lot of success. I used to work in live television, so I really loved that uh, career, and but it was not the most healthiest career. Like long days on the road a lot, lots of socializing, was a very sedentary role, and all that time I was trying to lose weight, but I just never felt like I was making any progress. And I always just felt like I was waiting for my life to begin, like when I got to my ideal body weight. So eventually I had had enough of just trying and never making any progress. So I decided to really take some time to focus on my health. And I took unpaid leave from my job. And
Wow.
then I, packed all my stuff into storage and I went to stay with my mum in Wanaka. And this is where I sort of like to say that I started my healthy lifestyle journey. So I just started walking and I just started listening to podcasts. And I found an amazing podcast on holistic health. And the information that I was learning was really inspiring to me, and it really spoke to me. And I really felt like it was easy to bring into my life. So I just started doing what I was learning in the podcast, just small changes, changing my diet and changing the way I moved. And the holistic health view is sort of about becoming healthy to lose weight rather than losing weight to be healthy, which is sort of what I had always been striving for. And I really liked the different style. Like it's quite different from the mainstream media of trying to eat less and exercise more to lose weight. So that's what made me really passionate about holistic health. And I just wanted to share what I was learning with everyone. And I had started losing weight consistently
Wow.
for the first time in my life. And so over about 2 years, I lost 30 kilos. And then I
Wow.
went on to study, in nutrition. I went to Auckland to study at a holistic college and came out from there and started my business and really wanted to focus on weight loss and women and helping them with their journey. But during that time, I hit a weight loss plateau and I was doing all the same things and I just wasn't making any progress anymore. And so, again, I went back to the podcast and I was doing a lot of personal development, listening to a lot of personal development podcasts. And I found one that really talked about like the mindset of overeating and managing your mind and emotional eating and overcoming that struggle of weight loss. And again, that information really spoke to me. I just started using that in my own life. And then I started losing weight again consistently and started teaching that to my clients. And it really, I feel like it's the sort of piece of the puzzle that's often missing in the weight loss journey. So that's kind of where I am now. Like that's what I'm really focusing on. That's what I'm really passionate about sharing with women. Yeah.
That's awesome. And I love how your journey, because your journey starts with your own challenges and struggles. You know, a lot of people who, well, won't generalize, but sometimes we look at healthy people and actually a lot of their stories that they've always kind of been healthy and have always had a desire to eat well and to exercise. So I love that your story actually starts where a lot of us are actually, where a lot of women are actually at, is they are finding it hard to lose weight, to find a really balanced way of just living a healthy life. Is
Yeah, it's really about finding those habits and things that you can do in your life now and see yourself being able to do those the long term. So it's really about making lifelong changes rather than sort of feeling like you're on a diet and then once you get to your ideal body weight, you'll just go back to the normal way that you lived. So that again, that's just really about changing it and being happy with how you're living now because you know that's how you're going to live long term.
was there ever a like moment or an experience, that something that happened to you, or that really, where you decided, actually I'm going to change and this time it's for real? Because sometimes you can say you want to do something and then you try 5-7 times, and then when you get to the eighth time you're like, actually no, this is for real, I'm not going to fail this time. Did you ever have that experience?
Well, it's sort of, I was thinking, because I had been on a holiday in Wanaka over Christmas time, and I just love it down there. It's one of my favourite places in the world. And I was like, oh, it would just be so nice to live here and be able to go out and walk and do all the, like, it's just so beautiful down there. You just want to be out in nature. And I had got the idea of actually taking time off from my job and going down there and spending some time to really focus on my health. And I'd sort of thought about it, but then I came back to Palmerston North, where I worked out of, and went back to work. And it was actually an incident at work that I was just like, oh, I just need a break and I need to try something different. Like, I had got to a place at work that I wasn't really feeling challenged anymore and I wanted more out of life. And so it just made me make that decision to actually just take that plunge and pack everything up and go to Wanaka. Yeah.
Amazing.
I still remember sitting in the car at the exact moment when I had that realization that I was going to do it.
Awesome. And have you found your weight loss has affected or transformed other areas of your life?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not so much the weight loss, but it's the holistic health view. So once you sort of start going down that path, there's so much that you learn, like about the quality of the food and different movement and how important sleep is and stress levels, and even just things like now I'm more interested in the environment, like sustainable things and good quality food, like eating organic and animals that are raised free range and all those sorts of things. So it's really just opened up my eyes to, I guess, just being more at one with nature and getting back to the basics. Yeah.
So you probably, I'm pretty sure I read that you've tried, and you said so too, you tried to diet before and you weren't successful, and I've heard you talk about your holistic approach to weight loss now. What was the difference between the two methods?
I definitely think it's what you eat. So eating real whole foods compared to a lot of processed foods. And I eat quite a low carb diet now. So that has been a big change in my life, and that has really helped me lose the weight. Whereas my past diet was probably very high in carb, the way that the mainstream sort of talks about it, like having lots of servings of grains and carbs are at the top of the food pyramid, and being afraid of fat, like having everything low fat. So I've literally gone from the mainstream sort of standard diet to a low carb, what I like to call a low carb healthy fat diet. So having my carbs mainly from vegetables and fruits, and then really embracing the full fat and filling up on fat and protein.
Awesome. And I see that you have a resource that you share with women around tips, weight loss tips from a holistic approach for weight loss. Can you share some of that with us?
Yeah, so I have a video series that I've created, and it teaches women about 24-hour meal planning. So it's one of my what I think with weight loss is it's all about being organized. So every Sunday I make a shopping list, and then I go to the supermarket, and it's about buying what's only on the shopping list, and then I'll sort of have a draft of what I'm going to eat over the week, and then I use this tool called 24-hour meal planning. So every night I will plan what I'm going to eat the following day. And so that's it's actually, like, a lot of people think that planning can be really strict and restrictive and feel overwhelmed by that, but it's actually really freeing, because so much of our problem, like throughout the day, is that we're thinking about food, we're trying to decide what to eat, a lot of decisions, a lot of overwhelm. And so this tool really like takes away all that, and you know what you're going to eat, and you can be prepared. You can do batch cooking and have stuff prepared to eat those things. And then the real work comes in when you want to eat something that's not on your plan. So teach people about how to sort of review their plan, like it's all about making an achievable plan, and then about doing the work around all the thoughts that come up when you want to eat something that's not on your plan. So it's really about sort of starting to get comfortable being uncomfortable, because a lot of the time we want to eat, it's because of a feeling, we're bored or we're excited or we're sad, and actually sitting and learning how to feel that emotion and be uncomfortable, and not eat to buffer that emotion away, because that's generally what we do. We're eating to try and drown out an emotion. So it's really about feeling that emotion and allowing it, and then processing it, doing the work around that. So that's kind of the start of what the tool is, and then I have a lot more tools that go deeper into that sort of thing on my YouTube channel. Yeah.
Wow, I've actually never really heard anyone talk about that side of weight loss, where part of it is actually just getting familiar with that feeling of being in between really wanting to eat something and knowing you shouldn't eat something, instead of just running off and eating it, actually sitting in that discomfort, which actually sounds like a really good discipline to get really good at.
Yeah.
I also heard you talk a little bit about stories, the stories we tell ourselves. And I also watched one of your YouTube videos where you shared changing the story we tell ourselves. Can you tell me maybe a couple, one or two of the most common stories that you find women are telling themselves or have practiced without even knowing, that are really holding them back from living healthier lives, and how we can replace some of those stories?
Sure. I mean, yeah, we tend to be our own worst critics. You know, we have this voice in our head, we beat ourselves up. And, you know, a lot of the stuff that we say to ourselves, we would never even say to our close friends and family. Yet we've sort of decided to tolerate this voice and just let it be there and make us feel bad. So that is something that I really like to go into, is the stories that we tell ourselves, and really starting to understand that a lot of those stories aren't even our own stories. They're just things that we've heard over the years from our friends and family and the media, and we've started to believe that they're true. So the first step is sort of starting to become aware of those stories and listening to your thoughts, and then really questioning, are they true? So if you have a story, asking if it's true for everyone. So for example, you might have the story that it's hard to lose weight. And so if you ask yourself that, is that true for everyone? The answer is no, because a lot of people do go on diets and the weight just starts falling off and they find it really easy. But it's not actually a fact. So it's just a story that you're telling yourself. And it's about being, sort of understanding that that's not true, and then starting to change those stories. So starting to be really a lot more kind to ourselves, really starting to build ourselves up and celebrate those small wins, and, you know that we're doing our best, kind of taking the story and flipping it on itself. So and yet really questioning, asking yourself quality questions around those stories. So, for example, one might be, I'm doing everything that I can, and that's what you feel like you're doing as much as you can. But if you really look at that sentence, it's not true. I mean, there's always other things that you can be doing. And another big thing is around the language that we use for ourselves. So, for example, the word should, we use that a lot. We should in ourselves. I should go for a walk. I should eat more vegetables. I should get to bed earlier. Should is it has a really judgmental feeling and makes us feel bad when we say that. And it's such an easy switch to say could instead of should. So I could go for a walk, and you just notice that the energy in that word is completely different. Like it almost empowers you and it makes you want to go for a walk. So again, just being aware of that language and starting to shift some of those words, and also really just focusing on what you value. So a lot of people are busy and they will always want to do more in their day. But if you really know what you value, it makes a big difference. So for example, if you really value having a healthy family and feeding them healthy food and being active with them, so maybe throughout the day you cook them some meals and you go to the park and you play with your kids and you spend some quality time with them, and then at the end of the day you feel like you haven't done anything because there's this list of jobs that you've still got left to do. Really taking some time to focus on the things that you did do rather than you didn't do. We're so good at focusing on the things that we didn't get done. But if you really focus on those things that you did do and that they are what you value, really celebrating that and really appreciating what you have in your life already, and not getting sort of stuck in that I'll be happy when story as well. So really, yeah, just being grateful for what you've got at the moment and being happy with that. But that doesn't mean that you still don't want to learn and grow. But it's just, it's about enjoying the journey. Yeah.
Awesome. And you talked a bit about self-care, loving yourself. Do you have any practical tips on, a few small things that we can do to practice self-care and loving ourselves that we could do every day?
Yeah, definitely. Again, everyone has a lot to do in their day. So I like to sort of give my clients tips about fitting things into their day that they already are doing. So one of them is using your thinking time wisely. So for example, you're in the shower. Most of us shower every day or every few days. And what are you thinking about when you're in the shower? You're generally going over your to-do list, all the things that you've got to get done. Maybe you're going over a conversation that you've had with someone and it didn't really go well, and it's bringing up all these feelings of stress and overwhelm, and it's not a really great start to your day. So I really like to encourage people to use positive affirmations in the shower. So really starting to say the things to yourself that you wish that other people would say to you. So I am proud of you. I am enough. I am worthy. I love and accept you. And you can do it in the I, or you can do it in the Emily, like in your name. So Emily, you are loved. Like really just building yourself up with all those beautiful words that you really want to hear and that no one's saying. So I really love to get people to start that off. And that's just something that you can fit in. You can start today if you haven't had to shower yet. And it's already something that you're doing, and it's just using that time a bit more wisely. Another one is that once you get out of the shower, you can actually write in the steam on the mirror. So I always like to write, it's possible. And then I think about all the things that I want to achieve, all my goals and dreams and reaching my ideal body weight. It's just really lifts you up, and it's just something small and quick that you can do to boost you up for the day. Again, with the thinking time, like, maybe you're sitting in a traffic jam or you're in a queue, rather than getting stressed about it or pulling out your phone to distract you, just taking some time to ground yourself and take a few deep breaths and start to sort of feel relaxed, and then just practicing gratitude, looking around you, seeing what you're grateful for in that moment. Maybe it's sunny, or you're sitting in the car and your favorite song's on the radio, just being a little bit more grateful for what you've got in your life. really is another easy tip to do, and something that you're already doing. And a weight loss sort of related one is about when you weigh yourself. So when you stand on the scale, often a lot of negative voices and thoughts and stories come into your head. You start beating yourself up. You start thinking about that extra potato that you ate yesterday, or you didn't go for your walk. So really just practicing being kind to yourself, and that nice self-care talk when you stand on the scale. You know, tell yourself that you're doing your best and you're doing enough, and you are where you are meant to be in your journey, and just really celebrating the wins. You know, maybe you parked at the furthest part of the car park and you walked that little bit extra, just like really tapping into those. Every little thing, that every little decision that you make throughout the day can either be for your healthy lifestyle journey, or making, you know, going forward or going backwards. So just really celebrating all the things that you do to go forward. Yeah.
Amazing. It shows to me how I don't want to use the word complex, but actually it is. There are a lot of aspects of weight loss, especially long-term weight loss, you know, a lifelong developing a lifelong desire to be healthy. There are so many aspects of it, not just what you eat on your plate, the food that's on your plate. A lot of it is your own practices of how you talk about yourself and preparation. It's just amazing. And it's no wonder sometimes if we do try and lose weight that we fall off the wagon pretty easy and we throw in the towel, because it's not just about eating. There's
Yeah.
habits, so many habits around it. Can you tell me just a couple more questions? Do you have a morning ritual that you practice that really you think really helps you thrive and to set you up? Would you mind sharing that with us?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, because it's something I've always wanted to do and I've never prioritized the time. So again, that word prioritize is a great word, the language to be using. So often we'll say, I don't have the time, but that's really choosing to not make the time. So I've never prioritized the time for a morning routine, but in lockdown, I had extra time. So I actually started a morning routine in lockdown, and I'm working really hard to keep it going now that we're out of lockdown. But it's pretty basic. I just do 10 minutes of meditation, nothing fancy, just sit in a comfortable chair, and I count down from 10 to sort of relax my mind. And then I just focus on being present. I sort of focus on what I can hear and what I can feel, and then just focus on my breath. And I just set a timer and do that. And I've been doing a little bit of journaling. I write down my goals every day. It's a really good way to keep your goals top of mind, is writing them down every day, and getting that into your subconscious mind to really have your mind looking for ways to help you achieve those goals. And then I have either been doing a little bit of visualization or some inner voice work, or working on my forgiveness list. So I've been really enjoying doing like some forgiveness. I've done what I call a thought download, and I've written down all the thoughts that I have that I think are holding me back from my weight loss. And then every day I just pick one thought and I sit and spend some time just thinking about it, thinking about where I first maybe heard it, who I heard it from, like whose story is it, how is it holding me back, do I really believe it, what do I want to, how do I want to change it, what do I want to believe now. And then visualizing that person that maybe I learned that story from, or even just a younger version of myself. And then I use what's called the Oponono prayer to forgive that. So you say, I forgive you, thank you, I'm sorry, and I love you. And then you just release that story or thought. And the idea is that you sort of get through your list, and then eventually you could write another list, and then hopefully some of those things will be gone off the list and you've kind of released them. And then some of those more stubborn long-term things might come up on the list again, and you just do it again over and over. So yeah, I've been really enjoying that, and trying to at least do it 4 or 5 times a week now that life is out of lockdown.
It's amazing. And In terms of your forgiveness, the memories that come up, when, how young were you when you, how young were you when you had your first does your memory actually go back to?
Um, I don't really know the answer to that. Like, it's interesting because I just was writing something, and I wanted to sort of know when I sort of would have considered myself overweight. So I was looking through my old photo albums, and it probably was around the time of like intermediate age
Mm.
that started. But I don't have any. Yeah, I mean, I probably was called things in that time, so that's probably around that time. Yeah. Before that, I think I, as a kid, I was really tall, and so I always felt like bigger and taller than my friends. So I think I made that story that I'm the big girl.
Mm.
And when I was younger, I probably wasn't overweight, but I had already made that story because I was bigger and taller than everyone. I felt different. And so I just carried that story of I'm the big girl um, throughout my life, really. And I actually just ended up creating the story because that's what I was telling myself. So
Mm.
I just became more overweight over the years. Yeah, I think that's.
My last question is, what has been your biggest challenge with your weight loss journey, and what has helped you overcome your challenge or your challenges?
Yeah, so I think there's probably two big challenges. The first one is definitely the time that it's taking. Obviously, we all want these things to happen faster than they do. And so it's really just about being patient and continuing to take consistent action and never giving up, really. Like, I've come so far now that I could never go back. I've learned too much, and I feel so good the way that I live now. So just being okay with how long it's taking and being patient, and knowing that I've obviously still got things to learn, and then they're going to help me in my journey, and they're going to help my clients as well. And also comes back to that mind work and managing the brain about eating when you're not hungry. So basically the only time that you should eat is when you're physically hungry, and so when you want to eat off that time. So just really learning how to allow and process those urges and understand why I'm eating. And lately I've really felt like I'm starting to come to a place where I'm realizing that it's not worth overeating and eating stuff that I know doesn't serve me, and just being strong and saying, no, I don't need to eat that, and really choosing that I want to lose weight over eating things that I know are going to make me gain weight. Yeah. So it's a journey and it's a process, but I'm making progress every day.
That's amazing. And I love your transparency and authenticity and how you just share your story. Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm on the journey to lose half my body weight, so I've still got a wee way to go, but as I said, I'm never going to give up.
Awesome. So tell me, where can we find you on social media and on your website if we want to follow your journey?
Sure. So my website is insideoutnutrition.co.nz, and then you can find me on social media, on Instagram or Facebook at Inside Out Nutrition NZ. I've also just signed up for a TikTok account, so you could go over there and be one of my first TikTok followers.
That's awesome.
I'm going to try and be a little bit creative and have some fun with my social media
That's
posts.
awesome.
Yeah.
You're brave.
Also
I
got
haven't
my
even got
YouTube
to that
channel.
point yet.
Yeah. Got my YouTube channel, Inside Out Nutrition, and the freebie that we were talking about is insideoutnutrition.co.nz/3 steps to lose weight. But I think you'll give them a link for that.
Awesome. Yes. And I will share a link to your freebie. Yeah. Thank you so much, Kate, for spending this time with me. I've just really enjoyed finding out more about you, your work, your story, and your journey. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.